Deep within the mountains of New Zealand, beneath layers of quantum shielding and false geological readings, Dr. Sarah Chen stood before a holographic display of humanity's best-kept secret. The Thunderchild's schematics rotated slowly in the air, its sleek lines belying the revolutionary technology housed within its hull. She absently rubbed the dark circles under her eyes, a testament to countless sleepless nights spent perfecting the quantum cascade drive. Dr. Chen, the Meridian diplomatic vessel is requesting another inspection of our primitive shipyards, her AI assistant Araya announced, a hint of programmed disdain in its voice. Sarah allowed herself a small smile. Let them come. They'll see exactly what they expect to see. Outdated ion drives and clunky fusion reactors. For 50 years, humanity had maintained this elaborate charade, while the Meridian Empire lorded over the galaxy with their supposedly superior technology. Earth had taken a different path. Instead of rushing to copy Meridian tech, human scientists had explored theoretical physics that the Empire had dismissed centuries ago as dead ends. The Meridians, with their crystalline ships and plasma drives, had become the very embodiment of technological stagnation. They hadn't truly innovated in over 3 centuries, content to refine and perfect what they already knew. Their dismissal of Earth as a backward planet had been humanity's greatest advantage. Sarah moved through the facility's vast underground chambers, past teams of engineers and scientists working on various components of the Thunderchild project. The quantum cascade drive was her life's work, a propulsion system that didn't just bend space, but surfed the quantum foam between realities. The Meridians considered such technology impossible. They would continue to think so until it was too late. Admiral Santos is requesting your presence in the war room, Araya informed her. The Meridians have increased their military presence in the Proxima Centauri system. The war room was a stark contrast to the engineering labs, all military precision and tactical displays. Admiral Helena Santos, a veteran of Earth's pre-contact wars, stood before a massive holographic map of local space. Her dark eyes were fixed on the red dots representing Meridian warships. They're getting bolder, Helena said without turning. 3 new dreadnoughts arrived yesterday. They're trying to intimidate us into accepting their new protection treaty. Sarah studied the tactical display. They still think we're decades away from developing reliable FTL travel. The quantum cascade drive will be ready for full testing in 6 weeks. And the weapons systems. The quantum disruptors are stable. We can collapse their shields like they're made of tissue paper. Sarah pulled up the latest test results. The real question is, are we ready for what comes after? Helena finally turned to face her. You mean the war? I mean the responsibility. Once we reveal what we can do, everything changes. Earth won't just be the underdog anymore. Other species will look to us for leadership, for protection against the Meridians. The Admiral's face hardened. They've had their boot on the neck of every emerging civilization for too long. Someone needs to show the galaxy that they're not invincible. Deep in the shipyards below, the Thunderchild waited. Its quantum core hummed with barely contained power, while its neural networks ran combat simulations day and night. It was humanity's masterpiece, not just a warship, but a statement to the galaxy that the age of Meridian supremacy was ending. Sarah's team had hidden their true advances behind a carefully constructed facade of modest progress. When Meridian inspectors visited, they saw exactly what they wanted to see: a species struggling to grasp basic concepts that the Empire had mastered centuries ago. The inspectors would write their condescending reports, and the Empire would continue to underestimate Earth. But there were signs that some in the Empire were growing suspicious. Research facilities like Sarah's had detected increasing numbers of stealth probes and surveillance attempts. The Meridian's contempt was gradually being tinged with uncertainty. Araya, show me the latest intelligence on Meridian fleet movements, Sarah requested. The AI compiled a detailed analysis. The pattern was clear. The Empire was slowly tightening its grip on human space. They clearly intended to force Earth into accepting official protectorate status, which would give them direct control over human technological development. They're afraid, Helena observed, not of what we are, but of what we might become. They've seen this pattern before, young species with potential that might one day challenge their dominance. Usually, they step in early, guide development along approved paths. Sarah nodded. But they discovered us too late, after we'd already established our own technological foundation. They've been playing catch-up ever since, trying to force us into their mold. The Thunderchild represented humanity's rejection of that mold. Every system, from its quantum weapons to its reality-shifting drive, had been developed along paths the Meridians had abandoned or never explored. It was a ship that shouldn't exist, couldn't exist, according to their understanding of physics. Final systems check is scheduled for tomorrow, Sarah said. After that, we begin the countdown to live testing. Are the patrol routes mapped out? Helena brought up a new tactical display. We've identified 3 potential confrontation zones, areas where we can guarantee a response from Meridian patrols without risking civilian traffic. Once we reveal ourselves, we'll have minutes at most before they call in reinforcements. Minutes is all we'll need. Sarah studied the patrol routes. The Thunderchild may look like one of our standard cruisers, but the similarities end there. Even their sensors won't be able to get a lock on us once the quantum field is active. As if on cue, the facility's alerts flashed. Another Meridian inspection shuttle was requesting permission to land. Sarah straightened her lab coat, preparing to play her role one final time. Soon, very soon, the masks would come off, and the galaxy would learn that humanity had never been the primitive species the Empire assumed them to be. The game of deception was almost over. The time for revolution was about to begin. High Admiral Vexthor stood on the command deck of the Meridian Empire's flagship, the Crystal Dominion, his iridescent scales reflecting the starlight. The massive vessel's bridge was a testament to Meridian superiority. Every surface gleamed with biocrystal technology. Every display showed the vast reach of their empire. Yet something troubled the aging admiral's usually perfect composure. "Show me the Earth reports again," he commanded, his secondary eyes narrowing as the holographic data materialized before him. First Officer Zara, her crystalline implants pulsing with stored data, stepped forward. "The latest inspection of their shipyards confirms what we already know, High Admiral. Their technological progress remains quaint. They're still struggling with basic plasma containment." But Vexthor wasn't convinced. In his centuries of service to the Empire, he'd learned to trust his instincts, and yet their production continues to increase. Their resource consumption has tripled in the past decade. What are they building with such inefficient technology? The question hung in the air, unanswered. The Empire's doctrine was clear. Primitive species followed predictable patterns of development. Earth's continued resistance to Meridian guidance was an anomaly, but not a threatening one. Or so the Imperial Council insisted. In his private chambers later that cycle, Vexthor reviewed classified footage from Earth's orbital stations. The humans maintained a peculiar mix of old and new technology. Their ships were ungainly by Meridian standards. Their weapon systems relied on crude projectiles and unfocused energy beams. Yet something about their design philosophy nagged at him. "Computer, analyze human ship construction patterns over the last 5 years." The AI compiled the data, showing a steady increase in hull production, but no significant technological advances. It was as if they were deliberately standing still, content with their inferior systems. No species had ever shown such resistance to progress. A priority communication interrupted his analysis. "High Admiral, we've detected unusual energy signatures from their lunar research facilities." "Unusual how?" "The readings don't match any known form of human technology, but they disappeared before we could get detailed scans." Vexthor's scales shifted color slightly, a sign of deep thought. The humans were hiding something. But what could a species centuries behind Meridian technology possibly have to hide? In the Imperial Council chambers on the Meridian throne world, debate raged over the Earth question. The massive crystal dome echoed with the voices of ancient beings who had guided the Empire's expansion for millennia. They refuse our guidance, reject our protection, Councillor Mirox declared, her bioluminescent patterns flaring with irritation. No species has ever dared such defiance. They are children, another councillor dismissed. Let them play with their toys. When they are ready, they will beg for our wisdom. But High Admiral Vexthor was not so certain. He remembered other species that had shown promise, that had developed along unexpected paths. The Empire had always moved quickly to bring such races under their control, to guide their development along approved channels. With Earth, they had waited too long. We should establish a stronger military presence in their system, he suggested. The humans respond well to displays of force. The Council agreed, though not for the reasons Vexthor intended. They saw it as a simple show of power. He saw it as an opportunity to study humanity more closely. Over the next several cycles, Meridian warships took up positions throughout human space. The massive vessels, their crystal hulls refracting starlight into rainbow patterns, were meant to inspire awe and submission. The humans responded with diplomatic protests but took no aggressive action. Yet in their shipyards and research facilities, watched by countless Meridian sensors, they continued their work. Their ships grew more numerous, though no more advanced. Their weapons remained primitive, their drives inefficient. Everything about their technology seemed designed to reinforce the Empire's assumption of superiority. High Admiral Zyra reported one day, "We've intercepted some unusual communications from their lunar facilities. They're using old-fashioned radio waves, barely encrypted. Let me hear it." The transmission was filled with technical jargon about failed experiments and setbacks in their propulsion research. It seemed genuine. Exactly the kind of frustration a primitive species would experience trying to match Meridian technology. Too genuine, Vexthor realized. Too perfect in its reinforcement of everything the Empire believed about human capabilities. "Deploy additional stealth probes," he ordered. "Focus on their deep space testing ranges. I want to know what they're doing when they think we're not watching." But the humans were always watching the watchers. Every probe was detected, every scan was fed false data, and every inspection was carefully staged. The Empire's confidence in their superiority had become their greatest weakness. They saw exactly what they expected to see. In his final report to the Council, Vexthor wrote, "The humans display an unprecedented pattern of technological stagnation. Either they have accepted their limitations, or—" He paused, his scales shifting to a troubled hue, "or they are showing us what they want us to see." The Council dismissed his concerns. Humanity was contained, their development controlled, their future predictable. The Empire had seen countless species rise and fall. Earth was no different. But in the darkness of space, something was stirring. The humans were finally ready to reveal what they had built in the shadow of Empire, and the galaxy would never be the same. The Thunderchild emerged from Earth's shadow like a ghost. To Meridian sensors, it appeared as just another primitive human cruiser, ungainly, unremarkable, and utterly harmless. Captain Maya Rodriguez stood on its bridge, her dark eyes fixed on the tactical display, showing 3 Meridian warships patrolling the outer reaches of the solar system. "All systems nominal," ARIA reported. "Quantum cascade drive at full capacity. Shields operating at maximum efficiency while maintaining stealth profile." Maya nodded. "Time to show the Empire what humanity has been hiding." Battle stations. Throughout the ship, crews moved with practiced precision. They had trained for this moment for years, running countless simulations. Every person aboard knew their role in the carefully choreographed dance that was about to begin. Meridian vessels detecting our presence, Lieutenant James Chen reported from Tactical. "They're transmitting standard warnings, treating us as a routine border violation. Let them think that for now," Maya ordered. "Maintain course and speed. Keep our systems in low-power mode until we reach the engagement point." The Meridian ships grew larger on the view screen, their crystal hulls gleaming with internal energy. They were beautiful in their way, perfect expressions of an empire that had stopped evolving centuries ago. Incoming transmission, Araya announced. The Meridian commander is ordering us to heave to for inspection. Maya allowed herself a small smile. Send the prepared response. Make it sound appropriately frightened and apologetic. The Meridian ships moved to surround the apparently helpless human vessel, their weapon systems powered up but not yet targeting. They had done this countless times before, corralling wayward vessels from primitive species, demonstrating the futility of defiance. They're launching boarding shuttles, James reported. Standard containment protocol. Maya straightened in her command chair. Time to rewrite the book on standard protocol. Bring all systems to full power. Let them see what they're really dealing with. The Thunderchild's hull began to shimmer as its quantum field activated. Meridian sensors, designed to detect conventional energy signatures, went haywire. The supposedly primitive human ship suddenly became a ghost in their systems, there and not there, existing in multiple quantum states simultaneously. Meridian vessels are powering up weapons, James announced. They're trying to get a target lock. Show them why that won't work, Maya ordered. Execute attack pattern Alpha. The Thunderchild moved with impossible grace, its quantum drive allowing it to partially phase through reality itself. Meridian plasma bolts passed harmlessly through space. The ship had occupied microseconds before. Target the lead vessel, Maya commanded. Single shot, maximum precision. The quantum disruptor fired, a beam of energy that didn't so much penetrate the Meridian shields as ignore them completely. The crystal hull of the enemy ship vibrated for a moment at frequencies it was never designed to withstand. Then it shattered, the massive warship breaking apart like a sculpture of glass. Panic erupted across Meridian communications channels. The remaining ships began emergency maneuvers, their crews struggling to comprehend what they were facing. Their sensors couldn't track the Thunderchild, their weapons couldn't target it, and their shields might as well not have existed. Second target attempting to call for reinforcements, Araya reported. Can't let them do that just yet, Maya said. Take out their communications array. Precise strike, no casualties if possible. The quantum disruptor fired again, this time with barely enough power to disable rather than destroy. The Meridian ship's crystal spires crumbled, its communication systems reduced to useless shards. The third Meridian vessel turned to flee, its engines pushing to maximum power. Maya watched it for a moment, considering their options. Let them go, she finally ordered. They've seen enough. Time for Phase 2. The Thunderchild moved to a position between the damaged Meridian ships. Its quantum field pulsed, creating a bubble of altered space-time that prevented the enemy vessels from escaping. Open a channel to the Meridian commanders, Maya ordered. Let's give them our prepared statement. On Meridian bridges, stunned crews watched as a human captain appeared on their screens. She spoke not with the expected deference of a primitive species, but with the quiet confidence of someone who had held the winning hand all along. This demonstration was necessary to make a point, Maya declared. Humanity is not what you thought we were. We have never been what you thought we were. Your empire has grown complacent, assuming that your way was the only way to advance. We chose a different path. She paused, letting the words sink in. You will send a message to your high command. Tell them that the age of Meridian dominance is over. We don't seek war, but we will no longer accept your guidance or your control. Earth is now a sovereign power, and we will defend that sovereignty with everything we have. The Thunderchild's quantum drive hummed to life, preparing to take the ship back to Earth. Maya had one final message for the Meridian crews. Remember what you saw here today. Remember that while you were watching us, measuring us against your standards, we were surpassing them in ways you never imagined possible. The galaxy is about to change. Be ready. With that, the Thunderchild vanished, shifting through quantum states until it reappeared near Earth's orbit. Behind it, the Meridian ships hung motionless in space, their crews trying to process how everything they believed about human technology had been proven wrong in the span of a few minutes. The message would reach the Empire soon. The game of deception was over. Now would come the true test of humanity's resolve. News of the Thunderchild's victory spread through the galaxy like a shockwave. On 1,000 worlds, species long suppressed by Meridian technological superiority watched grainy sensor footage of the impossible battle. In hidden places, resistance movements stirred to life. In diplomatic chambers, alliances began to shift. On the Meridian throne world, the Imperial Council had been in emergency session for 3 straight cycles. High Admiral Vexthor stood before them. His scales shifted to the deep blue of grave concern. The humans deceived us. Counselor Mirok's rage, her bioluminescent patterns flashing with fury. They hid their true capabilities behind a mask of primitive technology. No, Vexthor corrected quietly. We deceived ourselves. We saw what we expected to see. We were so certain of our superiority that we never questioned our assumptions. The council chamber erupted in angry debate. Some called for immediate military action, a full-scale invasion of Earth to crush this upstart species. Others urged caution, pointing out that they still didn't understand the full extent of human technological capabilities. Meanwhile, across the galaxy, other changes were taking place. On the mining world of Kilara, the insectoid harvesters ceased their resource shipments to the Empire. On the industrial planets of the Cygnus Arm, the mechanical synthetics began quietly upgrading their defenses. In the diplomatic halls of a dozen species, there were whispers of a new word: resistance. Ambassador Lyra Tizen of the Aetherian Collective stood before the human diplomatic mission on neutral ground. Her crystalline form shimmered with barely contained excitement. "Your victory has changed everything," she said to Earth's representative, Dr. Marcus Wong. "The Aetherians have long possessed technology that rivals the Meridians, but we lack the will to stand against them. Now," Marcus nodded understanding, "now you see it's possible. But I should warn you, the Empire won't fall easily. What you saw was just the beginning." In deep space, the Thunderchild was not idle. Captain Rodriguez and her crew conducted a series of carefully planned appearances at key strategic points throughout Meridian space. Each demonstration revealed a little more of their capabilities, while keeping their most advanced technology hidden. Back on Earth, Dr. Sarah Chen worked tirelessly with her team. The Quantum Cascade Drive was just the beginning. New ships were under construction, each incorporating lessons learned from the Thunderchild's first engagement. The Empire's making its move, Admiral Santos reported during an emergency briefing. They're recalling ships from their outer territories, consolidating their forces. Intelligence suggests they're preparing for a major offensive. Sarah studied the tactical displays. They still don't understand what they're dealing with. They think if they throw enough ships at us, their superior numbers will prevail. Won't they? The Quantum Cascade Drive isn't just a propulsion system, Sarah explained. It's a whole new way of interacting with reality. Each ship we launch is more advanced than the last. While they're gathering their fleet, we're evolving. The news reached Earth's leadership. Other species were beginning to declare their independence from the Empire. The Meridians' response was predictably harsh. Entire worlds were placed under martial law. But for the first time in centuries, their threats rang hollow. In a secret meeting on a neutral world, representatives from 12 species gathered to discuss the future. Humanity, represented by Dr. Wong, listened as ancient grievances were aired and hopes for freedom were expressed. "We've watched your progress," the synthetic ambassador stated, its metallic features precisely arranged in what it had learned was a friendly expression. "While the Empire demanded we follow their path, you explored alternatives. You've proven there are other ways to advance." The Harvester representative chittered agreement. "Our hive minds have long theorized about quantum mechanics, but the Empire discouraged such research. Now we see the possibilities." But not all species were eager to join what was becoming a galactic rebellion. Some feared Meridian reprisal. Others worried that humanity might simply become a new empire, replacing Meridian dominance with their own. Marcus addressed these concerns directly. Earth doesn't seek to rule. We want a galaxy where each species is free to develop according to their own nature. The Meridians believed their way was the only way. We know better. On the edges of human space, the Meridian fleet continued to gather. Thousands of crystal ships, their hulls gleaming with power, prepared for what they believed would be a swift and decisive battle. Their confidence was based on centuries of military dominance, on technologies refined to perfection. But perfection, as humanity had proven, could become a weakness. The Meridians had stopped looking for new ways, had dismissed possibilities that didn't fit their understanding of the universe. Their crystal ships were beautiful, their weapons were powerful, but they were fighting tomorrow's war with yesterday's assumptions. In her lab, Sarah Chen put the finishing touches on a new prototype. HFY, begin final diagnostics on the quantum mesh network. Running tests, the AI responded. Dr. Chen, I'm detecting some unusual patterns in the quantum field. It appears the technology is evolving on its own. Sarah smiled. This was exactly what she had hoped for. The quantum cascade drive wasn't just a tool, it was a door opening onto a new understanding of reality itself. While the Meridians prepared their fleet, humanity was taking its next step into the unknown. The galaxy held its breath, waiting to see what would happen when the Empire's perfect crystal ships met humanity's impossible quantum technology. The age of Meridian dominance was ending. What would replace it remained to be seen. The star maps in Earth's central command showed a galaxy in transformation. Dozens of worlds glowed with the light of revolution, while vast swaths of Meridian space pulsed with the movement of their gathered fleets. Admiral Helena Santos stood before the display, her face illuminated by the shifting colors. "They're coming," she announced to the assembled leadership. 5,000 ships, the largest fleet the Empire has ever assembled. Dr. Sarah Chen nodded, her eyes fixed on the quantum field readings. "And we're ready for them. The Thunderchild was just the prototype. Wait until they see what we've built since then." Earth's defense fleet hung in high orbit, 30 ships that appeared primitive and unremarkable to Meridian long-range sensors. Each vessel was equipped with the latest quantum cascade technology, each crew trained in abilities the Empire still believed impossible. High Admiral Vexthor led the Meridian Armada himself, his flagship Crystal Dominion at the head of a formation that stretched across light minutes of space. His scales had shifted to the deep purple of grim determination. The humans must be made an example of, the Imperial Council had declared. No species can be allowed to challenge Meridian dominance. But as his fleet approached the Sol system, Vexthor felt an unfamiliar sensation. Doubt. The humans had already proven their mastery of deception once. What else were they hiding? The battle began not with an explosion, but with silence. As the Meridian fleet entered the outer solar system, their sensors suddenly went dark. Their perfect crystal ships, guided by technologies refined over centuries, found themselves blind. Quantum interference field activated. Araya reported aboard the Earth flagship Prometheus. Captain Rodriguez watched as the massive Meridian fleet struggled to maintain formation. "They still think this is about ships and weapons," she said quietly. "They don't understand that we're fighting on a completely different level." The human fleet moved with impossible precision, their quantum drives allowing them to exist in multiple states simultaneously. To the Meridians, it appeared as if they were fighting ghosts, vessels that were everywhere and nowhere, that could not be targeted or trapped. Vexthor watched in horror as his perfect formation began to break apart. Crystal ships shattered not from weapon impacts, but from subtle manipulations of quantum fields that made their molecular structures unstable. "Status report," he demanded. "Unknown, High Admiral," his science officer replied, panic evident in her voice. "Their technology, it doesn't make sense. They're not just bending the rules of physics, they're rewriting them." The battle raged across the solar system, but it was unlike any battle the galaxy had ever seen. Human ships danced through reality itself, their quantum prize creating bubbles of altered spacetime. Meridian weapons, designed to destroy conventional matter, proved useless against vessels that could shift between quantum states. In her lab on Earth, Sarah Chen monitored the quantum mesh network connecting the human fleet. The technology is evolving even faster than we predicted. Each interaction with Meridian ships teaches our systems new possibilities. The Empire's mighty armada, the physical embodiment of their supposed superiority, was being dismantled not by brute force, but by a fundamental shift in the nature of warfare itself. Aboard the Crystal Dominion, Vexthor made the hardest decision of his centuries-long career. Signal the fleet, full retreat. We cannot win this battle. But retreat proved as impossible as advance. The human fleet had created a quantum barrier around the solar system, trapping the Meridian ships in a web of altered spacetime. Captain Rodriguez opened a channel to the Crystal Dominion. High Admiral, this ends today. Not with your destruction, but with understanding. Your empire has ruled through technological superiority for too long. That age is over. As if to emphasize her words, the quantum field shifted. Meridian ships found their weapons and engines disabled, their crystal hulls resonating with frequencies that rendered them harmless without destroying them. The galaxy is changing, Rodriguez continued. Earth doesn't seek to replace your empire. We want to help build something new. An alliance of species, each free to develop in their own way. Your knowledge and experience would be valuable in this new era, but only if you're willing to learn as well as teach. In the Imperial Council chamber, watching through quantum-entangled communications, the ancient rulers of the galaxy faced a truth they had denied for centuries. They were no longer the supreme arbiters of technological advancement. Vexthor, his scales now showing the white of profound realization, gave his response. Perhaps it is time for the Empire to evolve as well. The aftermath of the battle marked not just the end of Meridian dominance, but the beginning of a new age. Earth's quantum technology, shared freely with other species, sparked a renaissance of scientific exploration. The Meridian Empire, stripped of its ability to enforce technological conformity, began the long process of transformation into a member of the galactic community rather than its ruler. Sarah Chen stood in her lab one final time, preparing to depart for a new research facility that would be shared by multiple species. Ario, what are you detecting in the quantum fields now? Patterns beyond our current understanding, the AI replied. It seems the more we learn, the more we realize how much there is still to discover. Sarah smiled. That was exactly how it should be. The galaxy was entering an age of infinite possibility, where no single species or ideology could claim a monopoly on truth or progress. The quantum cascade drive had started as a means of propulsion, but it had become something far more, a key to unlocking the true potential of not just humanity, but all sentient life. The stars themselves seemed brighter now, beckoning with the promise of discoveries yet to come. Humanity had changed the galaxy not through conquest or dominance, but by showing that there was always another way, always another path to explore. The silent forge that had created the Thunder Child had given birth to something far greater, a future without limits.